Hello guys and welcome to TFT World Season 14, Grand Finals, Game number 4. Enjoy.
One of his pocket picks, one of the comps he would love to play if he's given, like we saw from Dish Open Game 1 of the tournament, perfect conditions to do so.
I really love that execution +1 with the Rengar, and you can play with the Deep Street Demons. Not sure we're going to see that just yet, but it's definitely a possibility as we move across the board and just kind of scout out these early levels. I think what we're looking for is definitely going to be the Cypher units here, if anyone has been able to find them.
Yeah, and our encounter this game is an extra augment on stage 4, so later into the game, not on stage 2, to possibly give that double econ. Here we are, though. Gold augments to start us off.
Summertimer immediately goes for Wandering Trainer as his pick on the left side, understanding he's in a position after 2 8s in a row to take even more gambles, to take even more risks. Surely third time will be the charm for this Japanese player. Rapid Fire Executioner makes me maybe doubt that statement. I'm curious what he'll be able to pull out of the hat with this setup.
And one thing we do see across the lobby as these augment choices come in is there's some that kind of shape what we play. And we saw Klikornin play around too much value, and we see Weijin playing around that now. It's going to be very interesting to see where Summertimer, though, does end up with this board, because there's not really a very clear line or clear way to get to a 10 trait that's prismatic.
A dummy with a gun, that's what he's playing for. I'm sure it's going to be that one.
Do you not like Divinicore here?
With Rapid Fire and Executioner?
I don't know.
With Executioner, it could be.
It is a line Summertimer plays a lot around Divinicore with kind of reroll. He's played it into vertical Divinicore. Obviously, Renekton is not the rapid fire unit we would have liked to see a few patches ago, especially not without the emblem. I just think it's a hard game. I think it's a Wandering Trainer, it's a gamble. You say, maybe I hit the insane out and I have a very clear direction to play for. Something like a Boombot that we saw earlier in the tournament as well from Wandering Trainer.
Just get another rapid fire emblem.
Is that still going to be strong enough for Renekton after the nerf? I wish we had the Renekton Rapid Fire from 2 patches ago.
It's very fun.
It was very nice to have that Crocodile just shredding through things. But in the meantime, we have 2 players that are trying to take away the win conditions here. There's one in Xiaoju that's playing full open fort right now, making sure that there are no loose streakers in Klikornin and AQ1H so they can cap out high.
And Weijin here, you could think he's going to do the same thing as Cornin, play too much value into Cypher. That could be a line. He could just hold these rolls as grief rolls, as rolls to roll down on 4-1 and buy as many maybe Zeris or Cho'Gaths, whatever unit he needs to deny from AQ1H and from Klikornin going to stage 4.
I think it's really important for us to check in on AQ1H's Exo items at some point, because he does have a Gwinsu's built out. It looks like he is heading towards that Exo direction. And also pick something that is very tempo heavy, but still currently loose streaking.
When was the extra augments? What stage?
Stage 4. Robin Song's one of our players that needs a good placement in order to get into check. Playing around the strong tempo line. AQ1H, though, crown guarded. This is a pretty strong start.
This is a clear indication of trying to play into Mordekaiser. Very strong item and augment combination to play into him as a main tank. And as you mentioned, Clement, the Rage Blade would indicate to me he could potentially be playing into something like a Zeri. We have seen some whispers of a Nitro Zeri build that can win games as well. Ooh. But I don't think it'll be a setup. You need to have kind of a snowballing Nitro setup to reach that T-Hex and to have that be a win condition.
I am a little bit worried about AQ1H's game plan right here. It is a very strong single into Exotech, and whenever you're on check, you actually want to hide your intentions a little while longer. It makes it so that people cannot deny your 2 stars when they have extra gold.
Vigar able to kill lots and lots of units. The Robin Songs has too much damage on his board. That 2-star Twisted Fate he's playing around is great, but not able to make 10 gold. So pretty poor for the side of Robin, but obviously HP is another resource you want to keep in this game.
Then we are seeing he is continuing to believe in the Prophet Moses Graves, again being the game plan for the CN player. Played it 3 times across yesterday and the day 1. Played it last game, is playing it again here.
Big thing for Xiaoju, not able to find that Cypher. He's clearly trying to be the defensive guardian of the lobby. You guys can't lose streak on the top. I'm going to be the sole Cypher. Leave it to me.
Yeah, Weijin playing defense against anyone playing around 4 costs. Xiaoju playing defense on anyone playing reroll. It's going to be an interesting game.
Zumbai in the meantime, giving his faith towards the Graves line once more. This is the line that he's done the best throughout the entire tournament, playing it last game as well. The one he won the TOC with, and I think this is a line that if you can streak consistently enough through stage 3, get to the 62 stack point, you have a chance to go first.
In previous sets, I think it was a big story that CN were the region that were really developing the meta. Most of the times it was Americas and EMEA playing catch-up with most of the meta comps, especially reroll comps, coming into the attack round. Hasn't been the case the last few sets. Americas has taken a big lead in that sense, but CN, the one big development from that region has been Graves as a whole. The positioning tech, especially with the Moses positioning, having all your units on the left and right side, came mostly from CN and from CN players playing on EMEA, on EU West, and on the NA ladder. And now we're seeing maybe the best Graves player from the initial region to start playing that on this pivotal Game 5, trying to execute yet again.
And Robin Songs did complete his game plan so far. 4-win streak. We haven't seen a super strong board just yet. And whoa! Click corner, the Exo Collar.
This could be what you need to be to access that world champ diff that we've seen from Dish Soap in the past. We're maybe seeing from Click Corner in this Game 5.
An early Sejuani is just wild. I mean, the fact that you are able to also still get back up to 20 gold, you have a very good item for this Sejuani, and the stun is going to buy so much time. I feel like the only thing that's really lacking is just being able to have that 2-star Jin, but the items are Hollow Bow, the Repulsor Lantern, and Hyper Fangs. Do you like those items for an Exotech board? Because I don't.
Hyper Fangs could be interesting with the Garen. You find the Garen mod, the X-Tech mod onto the Garen 2 as a potential way to find a win condition. We also have not yet seen our 3-2 augment. I don't want to, actually I do want to bless Click Corner. It could be Trade Tracker. So we'll see if it's going to be a gold augment in just a few rounds.
That's actually a great point because I want to point out both of our Czech players are going for the Exo line, and the way they can avoid pivoting is that Trade Tracker that is basically unstoppable.
Shop glitch here for Zumbai now that we are on this creep round. Nice copy of Ross 2, but you're still looking for those great.
Oh, does he hold it?
No, early defense. A little bit too early.
Yeah.
Looking across our lobby, and if you're watching and you're wondering who's in check and who's not, if you look at the right side of your screen, you'll see little crowns next to people's names. And those are the ones we really want to keep our eye on, because if they win, the tournament is over and they will get the crown.
One off Alistar 3 here for Zumbai, which could be one of the key ways out, and with the Graves 2 spike especially, to take over this stage 3. You have a key tank that kind of replaces the Jarvan in the late game, and you have a Graves dealing a ton of damage.
The hacked orb also gave us the gold stimmy. So you're going to get more gold the longer you hold on to that consumable item.
And this is really important to point out. What you see AT1H doing is he's trying to set up his augment potentials for that Exo +1. So pulling additional units outside, just leaving the minimum amount of potential traits on board.
Tailoring for any Exo synergistic augments that could potentially come up on this 3-2 round. These small little things that the top players do to try and min-max, to try and battle the variants, to try and come out as victors in a pivotal game like this.
Most of the time, if you're going into Exo, you want to have 2 out of 3 of green, red, or yellow. Those are the ones that you're looking for. Click Corner, of course, we've seen him actually play Hollow Bow a lot of times, which I thought was very interesting. And here's the moment, the 3-2 augment. Do we get golds? Do we get trade trackers?
I'm a little nervous here because, again, there's not much the lobby can do if it is Trait Tracker, because it's all up to them, whether they can proc it or not and have enough gold and health to roll down.
It is.
Trial run being offered is one of these augments.
You have to dig. Gonna go for trial run, gonna settle. Does Click Corner find something like a Trade Tracker on his pick? That's the other player is gonna be in check.
Spirit Link.
He is not going to find it. Still, both players able to find synergistic augments that will help their game plans. Not quite the high rolls they were expecting, though.
A sigh of relief from everybody else in the lobby.
Yeah, but a really good win on augment for Clicornin, though. Spirit Link alongside Exotech Health. It's going to be a very good combo, especially as you get down lower. But Wade and Iverson is also a little bit risking it all, playing around the LeBlanc reroll, and now with Last Stand.
We did just see this not work out for one of our players in the previous games, but you know, if you do activate that Last Stand and you're able to really capitalize on that extra combat power, that is one way that you can also play spoiler in this lobby.
The last stand was not really utilized to full effect from Clicornin in the game 2 because he played into a Dynamo line in the end with not that many melee carries, for example. It is so much more powerful with the Cypher stats on something like a Zed, for example. He can just tear through backlines. And Wei Jin has decided offense is the best defense. If you win the game, the Czech players do not end this tournament. So no longer really thinking about contesting and griefing, instead thinking, hey, I'm going to go for the craziest win-out game possible.
I do want to point out that he still wants to avoid Xiaoju on the bottom. He still does not have any units on his board the last time we checked, which is kind of crazy. He's going full defense mode, making sure we take it to another game.
Despite that, though, we did see Wei Jin Iverson upgrade that Alawi, and Xiaoju does have a couple of units on his board now. Found the Cypher.
Looks like he didn't go for the EU tech. He had the Rengar and Jinx and was like, nah.
Saved himself from maybe a fiasco, let's say.
Yeah.
We'll see with LDP, though, what the option will be for Xiaoju. I imagine Cypher is one option. You're contesting Wei Jin, though. I'm not sure if these players want to go into that contest. It's potentially in Xiaoju's best interest for Wei Jin to win this game, and he wants to leave that lane clear for Wei Jin to play into Cypher and find a strong win-out spot, with Xiaoju playing second fiddle, trying to find a secondary way to deny the win-out from AQ1H and from Clicornin, our checkmate players.
Robin Song's on the other side, playing from comfort once again, playing from ahead of tempo, playing at 100 HP right now, facing the strong board on the other side, but will be taking the win because of the importance of salvage bin. He's slammed everything he's gotten. He's been able to build good frontline items and good backline items, but there's a double component carousel on the way.
And a Zeri there as well. Double component already really good for the Exotech players if they can get that key unit. There should be some
no
defense.
way. No one defends, but Clicornin is going to be on the
Summertimer?
wrong side. Oh, he's third pick. Never mind. He's fourth pick.
Okay, Summertimer did his job right there. Even though AQ1H is my favorite, you got to defend now.
And Summertimer is playing around Exo, it looks like, right now. So we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that. He has Cypher in right now, but a lot of the other Exotech units, so maybe he's on grief duty. His Wandering Trainer does make sense with the Rapid Fire +1 and also the Executioner, so that would be the line that I would want to play into.
For Robin, a very interesting spot here. Hard to predict what he's playing into with the BT Slam on the Mundo, with a temporary carry in the TF for now. This is most obviously not going to be TF reroll. It doesn't fit the game plan that Robin wants to go for in a game like this where he needs to reach check, and it also is not the board to set up for it.
Does seem like trending more towards a physical line. He does have a lot of swords currently on his board and no rods, so that would be my guess, but obviously this is a very flexible type of board situation.
Yeah, I would think you'd end up in some kind of Dynamo line would be my guess. He can make blue buffs if he wants. He also has good Misfortune items, but he's, again, lacking in that front line if he does end up that direction. So on the other side, though, AQ1H, one of our players on check, will be taking another loss. Does have that Jin 2 to stabilize around and do a lot of damage, but not quite win rounds.
That's what his solve has been, actually, so he could just break apart all of these items and really pivot into anything at this point in time. So just full flex from Robin, playing kind of taking a page from AQ1H's book, adapting to what the game is giving him, and then having a chance to have a key roll down in stage 4.
Wei Jin did find a win there, so the Cypher loss streak is broken, and I would assume that is by Xiaoju.
The Cow 3 has come alive. Alistar, the main tank, going to be buying some time for Graves to do his thing for Zembai here at 83 HP.
Why did you call him a cow?
Alistar?
Yeah.
He moves.
He's a cow. He's
I
got
thought he was
horns.
an ox.
Ox is a cow.
Depends on your
close enough.
if you have glasses or not.
Well, I don't, so I suppose that's why I'm missing out.
And it's important to see what Wei Jin does, because when he was broken in his loss streak last time, he went straight cash out and tried to out-tempo the other player. This time around, he's rolling with the punches. He's going to keep his Cypher in. Of course, still needs to wait for that cash out. But this looks like a very tempo-oriented game plan for him.
And it looks like he did roll. He looks like he rolled. He has 6 copies of the LeBlanc. I think that is a 2-star on his bench as well. So in a good spot to possibly hit right here. He'll probably cash out, get the combat power, and get a little bit of that 100 cash out.
He's rolling the too much value rolls as he gets them essentially on 6, just to try and stabilize, try and preserve HP. He knows most of his win-out potential will be coming not from the resources of Cypher, but more from Last Stand itself, once that ends up proccing later on in stage 4.
I'd love to see what Xiaoju is playing on this stage. He did cash out his Cypher. He has 70 gold. We
He's
can see in the bottom of
rolling.
our screen.
already with the cash out and the roll. These two sector players, it's incredibly important for them. We talked about the box out a lot, and look what Zumbai is doing. He's helping them box out, holding on to his LeBlancs as well.
Playing some
Hacked
defense.
orb.
Oh, gonna hold on to 2 LeBlancs. But in this case, he's essentially denying Weijin from fulfilling his game plan, which I don't think is correct. I think if Weijin is on 19 points, he's making check anyway. They really want to stop the 2 checkmate players in AQ1H and Kickoff from hitting, so I don't think it's correct from Zumbai to hold LeBlancs.
It's also crazy that Xiaoju is now contesting this while Weijin was so far ahead, but has those 6 duplicators to possibly hit before Weijin.
Weijin hits regardless. LeBlanc 3 comes in. The stabilization on level 6, not level 7. So this means he's going to be much further away from Galio 3 and from Draven 3.
It has the Alawi 3. At least that's going to help you with the front line, but I feel like missing out on that gold might come back to bite you later.
Yeah, I think Weijin's in a pretty precarious spot, but again, he's in check regardless. This game being contested and also likely getting boxed out by Xiaoju. He's probably just happy to get any points he wants and play defense afterwards. I do want to point out that we did get extra HP from the PvE round, which technically is a huge boost to Klickhornen that does have Spirit Link.
Absolutely is.
Oh.
Extra value. Prismatics coming through. Black
Invested.
market options available. Chemtech Overdrive would be very strong actually for a Zeri board. There are 2 of those, and those are both going to be on our checkmate players. We'll see if they can maybe make that work.
Weijin taking invested, hoping to get to higher levels now, maybe even use some of those free rerolls.
Kickoff, one of those players in check, has the bulky buddies option. Hopefully has the right mental state to play around it, has to move the Jack just a little step backwards. There's an Etheria instead. Full value onto the board. We'll see what he can do here. Still only a Zeri 1. He's down to 5 gold, so a bit of a desperate roll down. Understanding there's a target on his back, he needs to try and find the Zeri 2 before the rest of the lobby contests.
Got double binary airdrop coming through from Zempai and Kambuli, so that's also going to be just a lot of extra power for them.
Everyone's picking up extra combat power at this point, and I believe there is going to be another Agumon choice later into the game. So this is just going to be very high cap across the board. Robin Song's finally coming off of his loss streak, and we're going to get a better glimpse of where he's going with this comp. He still wants to aim for that top 3, and I think Marksman Vanguard is the perfect comp to kind of go for that route.
It is uncontested in this lobby, so he'll be heading that way. AQ1H, though, does hit an upgrade as well as Chemtech Overdrive.
And we talked about it. This is one of the augments that I think personally only really fits this comp because the Zeri, no matter where she starts outside of the second hex and behind, she can dash out of range immediately, and the stats are going to be so powerful for this board.
Is this Golem going to carry?
Who might?
We're going to find out real soon, CLE.
3 items, has all of the stats from Chemtech Overdrive. It's at least fun, I can tell you that.
If a Golem wins a 1v1 to win Tac Round, this might be the best TFT tournament of all time.
We'll just give the Golem the crown. How's that?
Perfect.
AQ1H might not agree.
I mean, the Golem's still alive, though, and as that Mordekaiser steps up for the backline, this poor Zeri just gets walked on.
And it's really important he can take out Summertimer early because he's holding on to 3 copies of that Zeri. Both Klickhornen and AQ1H praying for his downfall at this point.
Way to kick a player when he's down, Clement. Summertimer just lost 2 games in a row going 8th, and you're preying on his downfall again?
The players are. Yeah, they have to have the copies.
I see.
Urgot on Carousel, but I don't know if anybody is at the level where they can really optimize using that.
There is an open Urgon on AQ1H just for the Executioner, but Kambuli, of course. He didn't go for that in the end.
It looks like 5 of our players have not used their gold injection quite yet, meaning that they're still ramping up and hoping that they can get to somewhere else in this game and get more power.
This is really interesting for Klickhornen. I was actually surprised he was willing to play into this Exo line, knowing that, one, it was highly likely to be contested. It's very easy to deny 4 costs in this type of a lobby, and also he just doesn't have the best Exo items. Ooh!
Where in the world?
Level 8. We're on level 8. He just hit Urgot too. This guy's a beast.
Is this not high-end chopping? No?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Nope, he's
It's
just
binary
good.
airdrop.
I think everyone's taking a sigh of relief in this lobby at this point.
They're like, Kambuli, yes! Put yourself on check for the first.
And we mentioned it, Kambuli had to change his game plan. He could not play Dynamo Flex another game on this day 3. He's completely pivoted into more of a win-out angle. Binary airdrop going to have items for all of his key carries. Mogul's Mill on the Cho'Gath here as well. If he wins this fight, he's going to be in a good position to climb back up in the standings.
Oof.
Weijin did find that Galio 3 though, which is why he's able to win this fight, and Weijin still has last stand yet to proc. So he's in a spot where he can wait for Xiaoju to die, then end up hitting the upgrade as well. But we have our 4th augment of the game here at the end of stage 4.
It's going to be another gold. Duo Q available here for Xiaoju. Of course, he's playing the Cypher. We're not going to be looking at that one.
Oh, he did pick it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Predictions 0.
He is 1 off of the Galio 3. We'll continue to roll for it.
Uses his gold injection.
Not sure what the game plan was here. Maybe just the extra gold from being able to sell the 5 cost to try and hit the Galio. That's what he was seeing as the biggest option, but a little bit too far off. Doesn't have the Z2 either.
Is it even possible since Weijin Iverson hit it?
Yeah, it's true. It's just really the Draven carrying everything here. I'm just not really in agreement with some of the game plans in this game 5, considering what is at stake and who's on checkmate.
And you see the mirror matchup here. The problem is for Xiaoju, he has 3 of those left duplicators left, so all he needs is 1 more. He could hit, but just didn't have enough gold to work with. But again, the Radiant item here on this Draven 3 could be enough if the LeBlanc can't get over there quick enough. Does do a lot of damage there, and the cast does not go that direction, but the BT is going to end up being the difference in this fight.
Even the extra HP from the Radiant Blue buff probably helped the Draven stay alive there.
And,
Weijin Iverson's just kind of smiling at that one.
looking at the players that are on check here, Klicornin with a massive combat augment combo right here. I really like this setup. It's Spirit Link that gives you the regen into the Ascension. Of course, he does look like a rather low cap board because he is missing a lot of the correct exo items and his backline as well. But if he ever does hit, those are very good augments for a potential first.
And you mentioned it yesterday, or just now, Clement, that you were surprised Klicornin went for this exo line in a pivotal game where his entire tournament is at stake. He's a player who in day 1 did not do so hot. Day 2, he mounted an enormous comeback alongside Summertimer to make the final lobby. 3 of his 6 games yesterday were Exotech. This was his saving grace. This was his kind of avenue back into successful lines, into successful points. So maybe this is why he's trying to go down this line again in this game 5.
Sometimes you just have to play your own game. Be familiar, trust in your instincts, lots of combat augments. There's definitely a chance for it to happen. Meanwhile, Summertimer down to 27 HP. Sorry to rag on Summertimer, but he's basically holding this lobby together alongside Kambuli.
Summertimer is playing around invested as well, so could be going for a crazy high cap. But we see Kambuli forward on the other side, now having this Garen, now having this Cho'Gath too as well. So continues to level up despite being level 8, and now could be looking at level 9 and possibly that win out angle. Robinsong's here, another one of America's representatives that needs a good result in this game, has stabilized, won 4 fights in a row now, and is looking very scary.
Talk about comfort comps. I think there's not a single pairing of comp to player stronger than this one in set 14, Cyber City. Robin has loved playing Vanguard Marksman as his go-to comp the entirety of this set, even now, even in this game 5. With Salvage being able to pivot back into it, has great combat augments to support this comp and allow it to reach a bit of a higher cap.
Yeah, was one of the only 2 wins on Marksman Vanguard so far, trusting in it to get him into check. Xiaoju and Summertimer now all on 1 life, I believe. Looking to see how far they can hold on.
Xiaoju not hitting the Galio 3, despite having all of these duplicators, is rough. We see some of the disdain on his face, but on the other side, we see this Graves board. Senbai's played this so many times and is so incredibly comfortable, and we see the positioning and knowledge difference come through. The Graves is going to walk towards the backline and possibly even delete. Oh, goes back towards the Zed, but now on to that Draven in the bottom right, and that's going to be a Draven clutching up there with that axe throw, but the Alistar 3 does enough damage.
The cow that you were talking about.
The Ox. according to Nick,
I
who
said
may
it
be
was
more
an ox.
familiar with animal species, I'll be honest.
No Boombot hits for Cambuli here.
But 4 Urgots, hello?
I think the more important fight was on the left there. Summertimer down to 1 life. Robin almost assisting, almost sending up an alley-oop for AQ1H for Klickornen as well in terms of these Zeries coming back into the pool. As you were mentioning, Clement, Summertimer, if he's taken down 3 of those Zeries, and the best defender in this lobby would be going down in potentially 7.
It's going to be really cool to see how much gold AQ1H and Klickornen still have, because they want to roll down and just rush for that area as soon as Summertimer is out. We're taking a look at the interest. Look, AQ1H saving up a lot of gold. He knows what's coming.
Summertimer potentially on his last life, facing off against them by the Graves, coming in, clutching up, taking down the Zeri. The Zeri survives. The last cast does not come through. Summertimer stays alive for at least 1 more fight, as does Cambuli, down to now 12 HP. 2 players on the chopping block. The 6 others trying to stabilize, trying to win these next few rounds before we move on to the next stage.
There's a Zach on the carousel, which would be a huge upgrade for all of our players. Zach is one of the premier frontliners late on in this set. Summertimer, though, finding important items to round out his backline.
A huge win for Zumbai in the previous site, making sure that our Czech players have to take another round of damage, making sure that they can't get their Zeri online just yet. Summertimer or Cambuli, even though they're low HP, they are the ones that are most likely to keep this steady. And I think one of the things that would be tragic is Zumbai just runs into Cambuli. We have seen this so many times, even in the TOC, where the Boombot player looks great, and all of a sudden, the Grave sneaks around.
Leona 2, potentially an upgrade. I'm not sure if AQ1H can find a way to fit on this board. He's just holding the forecast to get max chances of finding the Zeri 2. Makes the Mordekaiser. Upgrades, probably switches the tank items, the crafted chassis over to this Mordekaiser, as long as the Crown Guard that we talked about early in stage 2. Still no Zeri upgrade. That is the bigger problem here on this board.
Yeah. Not doing too great there, but everybody would be very happy if AQ1H fell out now. He's going up against Robin Songs, and he's pretty much hit the biggest cap he can for now.
And the problem is this Sejuani is completely wrong side. The carries are untouched in the top left and firing away. The Sword Overflow brings so much damage and attack speed to this backline, having duo carries that absolutely shred through front lines. Sejcast will catch Aphelios there as the Zeri dashes around, trying its best, but won't quite get it done. Cambuli, though, and Summertimer fall out.
Robin, the hero of the people, knocking AQ1H to potentially 1 life. Summertimer down, 3 Zeris back into the pool. And AQ1H scoops up one of them. And Klickornen also find his Zeri to upgrade. That is the other question. Kabuko 2 also found, all of a sudden, a comeback from AQ1H.
That was huge. Cambuli most likely taken out by Zumbai. He was on the Boombot board, the infinite scaling board that could block out both of the EXO Czech players right there. And now the door is wide open to the championship.
But we did see Robin Songs win the first game of the day with a Marksman Vanguard board, one that we looked at and said maybe this isn't going to be the strongest iteration possible, but if there is another boogeyman in the lobby, it's got to be Robin Songs who can find a way to cap it out.
The 2 players with the best chance of winning are facing right now, facing each other's Exotech boards, and it looking like one is stronger. The one that just got upgraded, the one that is at lower HP, now looking for the win out.
Klickornen hasn't rolled his 30 gold, waiting to get a bigger rejuice, get some extra econ threshold on this PvE round, get some extra value from Spirit Link as well, and then swing back up with the strongest board he's able to hit in this game 5.
Robin Songs, can he make the Marksman work? I feel like he might be the strongest board left here in the lobby. Of course, Weijin being able to pick up a lot of those 3 stars after Xiaozhu did drop out. So those are the 2 ones that might be holding on.
I mean, Weijin Iverson can get some good targeting with the Draven, get the corners. He's going to get a 3rd item here. If you're able to get something for the Draven, it makes him even more powerful.
Weijin could even, he's going to go 9 first, but he can roll here to try and get the Zeri 2 upgrade himself, deny Klickornen from having a chance to win, and then it's essentially just AQ1H against the world. The IE is huge on this Draven 3, and quick reminder for my fellow casters and our viewers at home, Weijin has last stand. This augment has not yet procced. He's sitting on a 4 win streak. When it does proc, he's going to get even stronger. Maybe will become the strongest player in this lobby.
And we talked about Wei Jin being that player coming into this game that could play 8th, could go 8th and still make it into check, but instead he says, I'm going to risk it all. I'm going to play spoiler. I'm going to try to play for first.
It's definitely the correct move here, and we're going to get a glimpse of how this fight is going to work out. Zeri actually being able to drive away from the Draven, but she can't do so against the LeBlanc, which is usually why this matchup is slightly favored.
Oh! Ooh. This Zeri is challenger, staying alive at 1 HP and kiting around. But again, this is not Wei Jin's final form, but Klee also taking a big loss down at 5 HP.
He has to roll now for the Zeri, and he has found it max Spirit Link value. He's not going to be able to go higher than this at 5 HP in stage 6. Is this going to be enough? We talked about the chance of Hyper Fangs, Garen being a way to cap out your Exo board. Klee has that exact setup, but it's still a Garen 1. If he can find a Garen 2, he could potentially become stronger than AQ1H when it comes to the Exo line.
AQ1H makes a big change to his board, though, putting Aurora in and putting the Koboko 2 on the bench to get pulled in instead. So 1 extra unit on the board. We see a Renekton 2 for Robin Songs, though.
Robin Song saved enough gold to be able to go level 9 himself, and with the Renekton 2, it just gets right into the back line and starts wailing away.
Barry's down from Cornin. That might be it. Zenbai's board is too strong. Klee is going to be out of contention for the win in this game number 5. AQ1H just barely takes the win. His dreams stay alive. He's in the top 4. 3 versus 1 essentially. Everyone else in this tournament, 2 America's players and Zenbai, they have to play defense. They have to play for the heroic extension of this tournament into a game 6.
And it's all about how you position against AQ1H's board. He is locked into those Chemtech overdrive boards right here. It's very easy to predict the general direction that he's going to go into. So I do expect things like the Graves to be on the right side, things like the Draven to be positioned on the opposite side to try and snipe out the Zeri.
Wei Jin versus Zenbai on the left side, but AQH, the one at 1 life, versus Robin Song's board on the other side. The marksmen are incredibly strong, but is it enough to break through this incredible front line from AQ1H? The Sejuani will get another cast off, which is huge.
Renekton being able to slice right in front of Zeri, but Zeri once again pulling up the challenger moves, dashing away to the left side. The front line is a little bit too thick though, and it looks like...
There we go.
AQ1H is taken down. The Sejuani could not cast again. And what a comeback from Robin, especially. Key wins in stage 4, stage 5, and stage 6 to continue this tournament. No player left alive has his check. We will be going at the very least to game 6. And most of these players here, if Robin especially has to get, I think, a 7th to try and climb back in and get check for himself.
This has only happened once before. Hitting 6 games in the checkmate format, so exciting to be able to see that. And Robin Song's skills still go further with that board. I think Wei Jin Iverson as well, you can see him starting to hold all of those 4-cost units, recognizes that at the very least for some of our players, especially for Robin Songs, one of his big main win conditions is going to be getting one of those 3-star 4-costs, and had already been sitting on several copies of the Philios as well as the Xayah.
This top 3 in this game will be on check next game. They have made enough points to get to 20, and so each of these players pulling off the result they needed to, even if Robin Songs were to go 3rd here, he would be at 20 points. I don't expect him to go 3rd with this amount of HP, but these fights will be incredibly important for the prize pool regardless, and Robin getting wrapped on by this Graves will be a huge loss. But again, Wei Jin having last stand and being this strong should be scary for everyone.
Every point still matters outside of just winning the TAC round entirely. Every point still does give you a 2nd place or 3rd place, gets you more cash. So they will be trying their best, even though the Czech players have been eliminated so far.
Firm handshakes in this top 3, but you have to imagine the mental state of Summertimer in particular. He played the strongest defense. He played into the Exo line. He had 3 Zeris in stage 4 trying to stop both AQ1H and Klee from developing their game plans. He ended up going out in 7th. He's the one who's not in check going into game 6. Potentially, he will have to be the hero to continue this tournament going to maybe a game 7.
It's going to be hard. There's going to be 5 players in check total for the next game. So at that point, the best defense is just going to be offense. You need to go for 1st place if you want to see a game 7, game 8.
We will be hitting last stand, though, for Wei Jin. It's looking very good for Zenbai, who has this Alistar 3 that's doing incredible amount of damage, having some very clutch stuns in these fights. Robin losing once again. I would kind of expect that to be the case here, not being able to outcap some of these boards that we look at and be like, yeah, this is something that can ramp up so high in these late games.
And Zenbai's already hit 52 for the Golden Ox stacks as well, so you're just getting even more power.
Finds the Viego upgrade. We saw from Weijin on his bench, he is playing defense against Robin, trying to stop him from getting the win here. As you mentioned, Clement, every point still matters outside of winning the entire tournament for prize pool, which could be pretty massive when you finish second or third or fourth. So there's trying to deny the 3-star win condition for Robin. Vanguard marks from a comp that usually is happy enough to make it to top 3. You need to have something real special to win a game with it, and a 3-star forecast is one of those ways to do so.
Zenbai's also going to be holding the Zeds from Weijin Iverson.
Everyone's contesting each other. Checkmate, baby.
That's just 40 chess.
Only one thing left to play for right here, and we're going to take a look at the finalized board. We are going to get a pretty big Viego, which is kind of rare in this composition, honestly. We typically just see trying to roll for a 3-star Aphelios as your outside win condition here, but he's going to settle on this one for now.
What
Robin's
about a
gone.
3-star Leona?
Yeah, it has 6 of them now. Has a good amount of gold left. We do see one on Weijin's board on the bench there, able to hold it. We're going to see how strong this last stand is now. This Zed is onto one of the carries. Didn't quite drop it down, but the Draven cleans it up.
That was such a beautiful Draven shot, going over at least 7 units and directly into the backline for Robin Songs. Weijin should be favored in this one, and he does take it comfortably.
Robin has done his job. He has reached check. He has gotten some key wins in this game. Has to feel happy, understanding now that he's starting to deflate. The Leona win condition is pretty much impossible with the defense being played by Weijin here, or much harder, of course. And we're seeing here Weijin guaranteeing, understanding the only way to lose this game now with his current strength, at least against Robin, is letting him hit the Leona 3.
Oh, there should be some positioning shenanigans here. Zenbai's only chance to beat Weijin will be to sneak into that Draven line. Maybe get out that LeBlanc before she starts to scale.
We will be wrong side for this fight versus the Vanguards. We have an Urgot 2 now with great items as well for Robin Songs. Having that sword overflow has allowed him to have 3 backline carries itemized, but the amount of HP, the amount of healing, the amount of damage from Golden Ox is too much. Robin Songs, a great 3rd place, putting himself in check, but not the fight he's looking for, not the ending he necessarily wanted in this game.
An interesting condition that is really elevating this, what we haven't talked about yet for Zenbai, is a noble sacrifice with the Alistar 3. He's positioning in a way where it's being taken down first, granting a lot of those extra stats to the rest of his board and making it that much tankier, allowing the Graves to infiltrate the backline, survive initial bursts of damage from things like the Zeris, things like the Dravens and the Blancs, and potentially win out this fight.
Zenbai just hit level 10.
Wow,
So did Weijin. They're both level 10. They have so many units on their board.
Checking out the positioning right here. He's going to move away from his front line. You really want to have the Graves moving in the opposite direction along your front line from your carries. So he is going to get that one.
Seeing it again there, Alistar taken down first. The stats come through. The Viego's tanky enough to cast another time. Is it going to be enough? The Graves is trying to move in, but he's been taken down. It's just now down to the Ross and the Senna, but the Senna does it all by herself. Zenbai, the Golden Ox King, gets another win here, back-to-back Graves games and back-to-back top 4 for the CN player.
We talked about this in the pre-show, but somehow Zenbai has an AVP